as you see there, the main, it says you want to use your calculator, but the main issue is it's not in a format for me to use the calculator yet. So I'm going to have to put it into that format. So for the first one, I would subtract 2x from both sides. And then divide by 4. So I'm going to have negative 2 divided by 4, which is a negative 1/2 x plus 11/4. For the second equation, I'm going to add 5x to both sides. So I have 5x plus 5. And if I divide by 3, I'm going to have y equals 5/3 x plus 5/3. So now I'm going to go back to my calculator. Move that aside a little bit. I'm now going to put these in. Clear these. I have negative 1/2 x plus 11/4. I have the second one being 5/3 x plus 5/3. And I'm going to graph them. So there's my first line. There's my second line. And I'll show it here too. And I can see where they cross each other. It looks like they're crossing each other at a point that's, not quite at 1 and not quite up as high as 3. So, you're going to maybe get some nasty decimals. Now, what the problem is, if you were doing this yourself, you'd have to guess where this is. If you were trying to just say, okay, I'm just going to guess by looking at the graph. Now, luckily, I could just go to the graph and say, okay, second, calculate, find the intersection, and just basically hit the enter 3 times. And I can see that the intersection is at 1/2 and 2.5, or 1/2, comma 5/2. So I can see that. It's just, if you have a point that's kind of floating out there and it's not on a nice gridded area of the graph, you would have to sometimes speculate as to what that is. A lot of people would usually guess at the halves, but here it happens to be that, so it actually did work out. But graphing is really only a useful tool if you have a graphing calculator to do it. Because you want to get the exact answers. And even sometimes when you use the graphing calculator or things like that, it doesn't produce the exact answer because it uses certain algorithms to kind of check a lot of answers, and sometimes it may be off by a decimal point or two. So there's other means of doing it, and one of the other means is to use some algebra.